Alone at Night Horror Stories. The haunting rainy night. It was a stormy night, rain relentlessly pelting against the window panes, creating an eerie symphony that echoed through the empty house. Sarah, alone in her creaky old home, nestled deep within the woods, couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. As the shadows danced across the walls, an unsettling sense of dread settled over her. Determined to dispel her growing unease, Sarah immersed herself in a book, attempting to drown out the rhythmic tapping of rain on the roof. The only light in the room flickered intermittently, casting eerie shadows on the walls that seemed to move independently of any logical explanation. As the clock struck midnight, strange noises began to emanate from the darkness outside. Creaks, whispers, and an occasional tapping echoed through the house, causing Sarah's heart to race. She dismissed them as mere products of her imagination until a soft, childlike voice called her name from the hallway. A chill ran down her spine as she cautiously ventured into the dimly lit corridor. The air grew colder, and the rain outside intensified, creating an almost surreal backdrop to the unfolding horror. The voice persisted, leading her through the labyrinthine passages of her own home. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and she felt a ghostly presence closing in. The flickering lights cast elongated shadows that seemed to reach out for her. Panic set in as she stumbled upon an old, forgotten room. Its door, previously sealed shut, now stood ajar. Against her better judgment, Sarah pushed the door open, revealing a room frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture, faded photographs, and a weathered rocking chair that swayed eerily on its own. The child's voice now spoke with a haunting urgency, revealing the tragic tale of a long-lost soul seeking solace. Terrified yet compelled to help, Sarah unraveled the mystery of the ghostly presence. In doing so, she discovered a secret buried within the walls of her home, a heartbreaking story of betrayal and unfinished business that bound the spirit to the earthly realm. As the night wore on, the storm outside gradually subsided, and the ghostly whispers faded into silence. The once haunted house now held a somber tranquility. Alone yet no longer afraid, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that, for a brief moment, she had bridged the gap between the living and the dead on that true, rainy, Alone at Night horror story. The Midnight Visitor. In the small town of Ravens Hollow, Emily lived a quiet life in her ancestral home. One fateful night, as the moon hung low and the streets lay deserted, Emily found herself alone at home, surrounded by an unsettling silence. The wind outside howled like a distant cry, creating an atmosphere of unease that clung to the air. Emily, attempting to dispel her growing sense of isolation, decided to distract herself with a book. The only illumination in the room came from a dim lamp casting long shadows across the antique furniture. The ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway seemed to echo louder in the eerie stillness of the night. As the clock struck midnight, an unexplained chill settled in the room. Emily felt a presence, a subtle shift in the atmosphere that raised the hairs on the back of her neck. an inexplicable feeling of being watched. She nervously scanned the room, half expecting to find a pair of eyes peering from the shadows. To her surprise, a soft, haunting melody drifted through the air. The ghostly notes seemed to emanate from an old music box that had been tucked away in the attic for years. Trembling, Emily followed the haunting tune, climbing the creaky stairs to the forgotten realm above. In the attic, the air felt heavier, pregnant with the weight of forgotten memories. The music box sat on a dusty trunk, its lid slightly ajar. As Emily approached, the haunting melody intensified, resonating with an otherworldly energy. The lid slowly creaked open, revealing a delicate porcelain doll with vacant eyes and a painted smile. Unsure how the doll had wound up in the attic or why it played music at midnight, Emily hesitated. The melody took on an eerie quality, and the doll's eyes seemed to follow her every move. The room grew colder, and shadows danced around the attic like malevolent spirits. As Emily reached to close the music box, a whisper echoed through the darkness. A voice from the past, pleading for release. Terrified yet compelled to unravel the mystery, Emily delved into the secrets of her family's history, uncovering a tragic tale of betrayal and a restless spirit seeking redemption. The night wore on, and with each revelation, the atmosphere in the house shifted. The once forgotten spectre found peace, and the haunting melody faded into the silence of the early morning. Alone at night, Emily had faced the unknown, unraveled the mysteries of her ancestral home, and discovered that some secrets are best left undisturbed. Solitude's Whisper. In the quiet town of Hollow Creek, Lily found herself alone at home for the weekend. Her parents had gone on a last-minute trip, leaving her in the old family house that always seemed to creak and settle in strange ways. The air hung heavy with the weight of solitude as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the dimly lit rooms. Lily, eager to make the most of her solitary retreat, decided to spend the night watching movies. The soft glow of the television flickered across the living room, creating an illusion of warmth that contradicted the growing chill in the air. The quiet hum of the refrigerator and the occasional ticking of the clock were the only sounds that accompanied her. As the night deepened, a sense of isolation settled in. The walls seemed to close in around her, and every creak and groan of the house echoed through the silence. She tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to the unfamiliarity of being alone in the large, old house. Midnight arrived, and Lily decided it was time to retire to her room. The staircase, bathed in the pale glow of the moon filtering through the curtains, felt ominous as she ascended. In her room, the dim light of her bedside lamp barely penetrated the shadows that clung to the corners. Lily lay in bed, the solitude pressing on her like a heavy blanket. Just as she began to drift into uneasy sleep, she heard a soft, melodic hum from the hallway. Startled, she sat up, straining to listen. The hum grew louder, taking on an eerie quality that sent shivers down her spine. Cautiously, Lily stepped into the hallway, following the haunting melody. The source of the sound seemed to shift, leading her through the darkened corridors of the house. The air grew colder, and an inexplicable dread settled in. Whispers echoed through the empty rooms, indistinct yet laden with a sense of sorrow. In the heart of the house, Lily stumbled upon an old, forgotten room. The door, slightly ajar, revealed a room frozen in time. Dust-covered furniture, faded photographs, and an ancient mirror that seemed to reflect something other than Lily's own reflection. As she approached the mirror, the whispers crescendo into a mournful wail. Lily's breath caught as the mirror revealed ghostly figures, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. Their eyes, filled with longing, met hers in a silent plea for release. Terrified yet compelled to help, Lily embarked on a journey to unravel the mysteries of the trapped souls. In doing so, she uncovered a tragic tale of lost love and betrayal that bound the spirits to the house. As dawn broke, the once haunted home seemed to sigh with relief, the oppressive solitude replaced by a profound sense of closure. Alone at home, Lily had faced the haunting echoes of the past and, in the process, became a conduit for the restless spirits to find peace. The solitude's whispers faded into the daylight, leaving behind a house no longer burdened by the weight of its haunted history.